Okay, I'm going to be real with you all right now because what just got exposed about Clarissa Shields has me genuinely shook. And I know some of you have been waiting for this. I know some of you have been sitting there watching this whole circus unfold with Clarissa, with Papoose, with Remy Ma, with Maserati Bud, with 50 Cent, and you've been asking yourselves, when is somebody going to connect all these dots? When is somebody going to lay out exactly what happened here? Well, that day is today. And yes, the Clarissa Shields defenders are absolutely losing their minds in the comments trying to spin this, trying to tell me I'm just a hater, trying to say I don't understand the full story. But we're not going to let that ruin this because what we're about to get into is backed by receipts, backed by timelines, backed by the words that came out of people's own mouths. This isn't speculation anymore. This is about what allegedly went down behind the scenes that completely derailed what could have been one of the biggest opportunities in Clarissa Shields' entire career. We're going to have a calm, normal video today. Just kidding, absolutely not. Because what Tasha K just alleged on her platform about this whole situation. It's the missing piece to a puzzle that a lot of us have been trying to solve for months. And once you hear this, once you see how all of this connects, you're going to understand why Clarissa has been moving the way she's been moving. You're going to understand why she's been so defensive. You're going to understand why her career trajectory looks the way it does right now compared to where it could have been. Hold on, say it with me. Now, let's talk about what they don't want you to see. Because from the alleged relationship between Clarissa Shields and Maserati Bud that she tried to completely erase from the internet, to how she allegedly fumbled a management deal with 50 Cent, one of the biggest moguls in entertainment, to pursue a public relationship with a married man who couldn't offer her nearly the same level of opportunity, to the receipts that Maserati Bud has been sitting on this whole time, to what Tasha K is now alleging about the real timeline of events and who knew, what when, to how this all connects to why Clarissa's boxing career is struggling to reach mainstream appeal despite her talent, to the absolute chaos that unfolded when Remy Ma allegedly put Papoose out of her house. We have so much to get into today. If you're ready to see all of this unfold, leave that like right now because this is one of those videos where every single minute is going to reveal something new. Every single section is going to make you say, wait, what? And by the time we get to the end, you're going to see this entire situation in a completely different light. We can't waste another second. There's too much to cover. Let's get into this right now. And here we go again. Like clockwork, Clarissa Shields gets on the internet, makes some claims about being harassed, tries to paint herself as a victim, tries to act like Maserati Bud is some random fan who's obsessed with her, and then we do this whole dance all over again where the receipts come out and show us a completely different story. So let me set the stage for you. Tasha K, who, as you all know, has been waiting for the perfect moment to address Clarissa Shields ever since Clarissa decided to call out Tasha and Gazelle 305 as toxic to the black community in that gym video, finally dropped her breakdown of this entire situation. And I'm not going to play the audio directly because, as you know, the block is hot right now with Tasha K content and I'm not trying to catch any smoke. But what I will do is give you a comprehensive summary of what was alleged, and then we're going to connect all the dots ourselves. According to what Tasha K alleges, Clarissa Shields and Maserati Bud were allegedly involved romantically. We're talking about a full-blown situationship, you guys. They allegedly knew each other very well. They were allegedly intimate. They were allegedly building something together. And Maserati Bud has the receipts to prove all of this, text messages, DMs, screenshots, the whole 9 yards showing that they were in communication, that they knew each other, that there was familiarity between them. Now, Clarissa has been on the internet trying to claim she doesn't really know him, trying to act like he's just some random person who keeps posting her on his page without her permission, trying to paint him as a stalker. But when you look at the actual evidence that Maserati Bud has presented, that narrative completely falls apart. Let me read you some of what was shown in those text messages. In one exchange, it's Clarissa reaching out to Maserati Bud first. It's Clarissa being friendly, being familiar, being comfortable. In another set of messages, Maserati Bud is talking about how he might be able to pull some strings to get her a cameo in a movie. He's talking about connecting her with people. He's talking about helping her career. And this is where the story gets really interesting, because according to what Tasha K alleges, at the time all of this was going down, Clarissa Shields was with her ex-fiancé Tony Rich. But Tony Rich isn't famous. Tony Rich doesn't have industry connections. Tony Rich can't get you into the rooms where the real money and opportunities are. So allegedly, while Clarissa was with Tony Rich publicly, she was also building a relationship with Maserati Bud behind the scenes. And here's why that matters. Maserati Bud had something that Tony Rich didn't have. Maserati Bud was connected to 50 Cent. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Maserati Bud was allegedly the bridge between Clarissa Shields and a potential management deal with 50 Cent and G-Unit. This is not speculation. This is what Tasha K alleges based on information from people who were allegedly in these rooms and witnessed these conversations. And if you put all of this together, the conclusion is painfully obvious. Allegedly, Clarissa Shields was using her relationship with Maserati Bud to try to get access to 50 Cent's network, his platform, his resources, and his ability to elevate her boxing career to mainstream superstardom. But here's where it all goes wrong. Here's where Clarissa allegedly makes the biggest fumble of her professional life. Because instead of staying focused on that opportunity, instead of playing it smart and letting Maserati Bud continue to build that bridge to 50 Cent, Clarissa allegedly gets caught up in her feelings about another man. A married man. A man who was still legally married to Remy Ma. And that man is Papoose. Now let's stack the timeline here, because this is where things get really damning. According to what Tasha K alleges, at the time when Maserati Bud was working to connect Clarissa with 50 Cent, Papoose was still living with Remy Ma. He was still her husband. He was still allegedly managing aspects of her career and taking a percentage of her income. But then something happened. Allegedly, Remy Ma got fed up. According to multiple sources and what has been reported in various outlets, Remy Ma allegedly told Papoose to get out of her house. The reports claim she told him to come pick up his clothes, that he wasn't paying bills anymore, that he wasn't contributing to the household anymore, that he was essentially freeloading while texting and calling other women, and allegedly, one of those women was Clarissa Shields. And Tasha K alleges that when this happened, when Papoose no longer had a place to stay, Clarissa Shields saw an opportunity. Not a romantic opportunity necessarily. Well, maybe that too, but more importantly, she saw a celebrity opportunity. Because in Clarissa's mind, allegedly, Papoose represented something that Maserati Bud didn't represent: public visibility. Papoose was a recognizable name. Papoose had been on Love and Hip Hop. Papoose was Remy Ma's husband, and Remy Ma is a legendary female rapper. So even though Papoose himself wasn't moving like a mogul, even though he didn't have his own major deals or his own independent success at the level of someone like 50 Cent, he had name recognition. And allegedly, that's what Clarissa wanted. Let me paint the picture for you with a comparison that makes this even clearer. Imagine you're a boxer who's extremely talented, one of the best in your division, possibly one of the best female boxers of all time. But you're not getting the mainstream attention you feel you deserve. You're not getting the endorsement deals. You're not getting the reality show offers. You're not getting the level of celebrity that someone like Layla Ali had. And you're frustrated because you know you have the skills, you know you have the talent, but you don't have the platform. Now imagine someone comes along and says, "Hey, I can introduce you to 50 Cent. I can get you a meeting. I can help you get signed to his management team." 50 Cent is producing multiple hit shows. He's got deals with major networks. He's got his own liquor brands, his own production company, connections to Hollywood, connections to Madison Avenue, connections everywhere. That's a life-changing opportunity, right? That's the kind of connection that can take you from being a respected athlete in your sport to being a household name across the country. But then, allegedly, instead of staying focused on that opportunity, you get distracted by a man who's just been kicked out of his wife's house. A man who doesn't have those same connections. A man who's known primarily for being married to someone else. And you choose to pursue that relationship publicly, potentially jeopardizing the opportunity with 50 Cent in the process. That's allegedly what Clarissa Shields did. And the reason this matters so much is because we're now seeing the consequences of that decision play out in real time. Let's talk about what Clarissa Shields' career looks like right now versus what it could have looked like. Right now, Clarissa is signed to a label called Win Records, which is allegedly connected to Papoose. She's been trying to launch a music career alongside her boxing career. She's been teasing songs, posting snippets, talking about upcoming releases. But where are the results? Where are the big placements? Where are the streaming numbers? Where's the mainstream visibility? Compare that to what 50 Cent is doing right now. 50 Cent just had a massive hit documentary about Diddy on Netflix that was #1 in almost every country for several weeks. 50 Cent just signed a reported $100 million deal with Planet Hollywood. 50 Cent has multiple shows in production across different networks. 50 Cent is producing Broadway content. The man is a mogul in every sense of the word. And allegedly, Clarissa Shields could have been part of that ecosystem. She could have been featured in a Power spinoff. She could have been a brand ambassador for his champagne or cognac brands. She could have had her own documentary series. She could have had access to the kind of resources that would have made her a mainstream star. But allegedly, she chose Papoose instead. And I'm not saying this to be cruel. I'm saying this because it's genuinely baffling from a career strategy perspective. What can Papoose offer that 50 Cent can't offer exponentially more of? And honestly, I'm a little tired talking about what could have been. But listen, what comes next is even bigger. Because we need to talk about what's happening right now in real time that proves just how much of a fumble this allegedly was. But everything that is really important right now centers around one question and one question only. Why is Clarissa Shields' music career going nowhere while other artists are finding success seemingly overnight? Let me give you a perfect example. Zeus Network just launched Zeus Records 8 days ago. 8 days. And they already have a hit on their hands with the song Baddie featuring Offset, produced by London on the Track. That song debuted, went straight to streaming platforms, got immediate attention, got playlist, got promoted, and is performing well. 8 days. Meanwhile, Clarissa Shields has been working with Win Records for how long now? And she can't even get an auto-tune single to streaming platforms without delays, without problems, without drama. She posted a snippet weeks ago, and we're still waiting for the full release. And when people ask about it, the excuses keep coming. It's coming soon. We're working on it. There are some issues we need to resolve. Do you see the difference? Do you see what happens when you're connected to real infrastructure versus when you're connected to someone who's running things out of their apartment? Zeus Network has resources. They have distribution deals. They have marketing budgets. They have experience in the entertainment industry. And most importantly, they have a proven track record of creating content that people actually want to consume. What does Win Records have? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but genuinely, what is Win Records' track record? What other artists have they successfully launched? What hits have they produced? What partnerships do they have with major streaming platforms or radio stations? This is what I mean when I say Clarissa Shields allegedly chose celebrity clout over real opportunity. She wanted the appearance of being with someone famous more than she wanted the substance of being connected to someone powerful. And the crazy part is, Maserati Bud wasn't even asking her to be with him publicly necessarily. He was just trying to help her career. He was allegedly putting her in rooms, getting her meetings, connecting her with publicists, setting up opportunities. And all of that was leading to the big moment, an introduction to 50 Cent. But when Remy Ma allegedly put Papoose out, and Papoose needed a soft place to land, Clarissa allegedly decided to be that soft place. And in doing so, she allegedly burned the bridge to 50 Cent. Because you can't be publicly entangled with Papoose, who's feuding with his own wife and dealing with his own messy divorce situation, while simultaneously trying to present yourself as a professional athlete and entertainer who deserves to be taken seriously by someone like 50 Cent. This is one of the most important sections we need to break down because the receipts that have been presented paint a very clear picture of what allegedly happened behind the scenes. And we need to give credit where it's due. Maserati Bud came with documentation. In the text messages that Maserati Bud shared publicly, we can see several things. First, we can see that Clarissa Shields initiated contact with him in some of these exchanges. This completely contradicts her narrative that he's some obsessed fan who won't leave her alone. If someone is harassing you, you're not the one reaching out first. You're not the one maintaining a friendly, familiar tone in your messages. You're blocking them and moving on. Second, we can see that Maserati Bud was actively working to help Clarissa's career. In one message thread, he's literally talking about getting her into a movie. He's discussing opportunities. He's mentioning people he can connect her with. This is not the behavior of a stalker. This is the behavior of someone who's genuinely trying to be helpful and supportive. Third, and this is perhaps most damning, we can see that the relationship between them was not one-sided. There's back and forth. There's comfort. There's the kind of communication pattern you see between two people who know each other well and have an established relationship. Now, let me read you something that Tasha K allegedly discussed on her platform, based on information from sources who were allegedly in these industry circles. According to what was stated, when everyone was signed to 50 Cent and G-Unit, we're talking about Maserati Bud's circle, the people around 50's operation, Clarissa Shields was actively looking to partner with 50 Cent. She wanted that visibility. She wanted that platform. She wanted to be able to promote her boxing career the way Floyd Mayweather had done, the way other combat sports athletes have successfully crossed over into mainstream entertainment. And do you hear what this is really saying? Because if you read between the lines, this is a direct confirmation that Clarissa Shields was the one pursuing these connections. She was the one looking to get put on. She was the one who needed Maserati Bud's help to get access to 50 Cent's world. She was, allegedly, the groupie in this situation. Not Maserati Bud. She was the one starstruck by the possibility of being connected to 50 Cent's empire. And the reason this matters is because Clarissa has been trying to flip the script publicly. She's been trying to make it seem like Maserati Bud is obsessed with her, like he's posting her on his page without permission, like he's claiming a relationship that never existed. But the timeline and the evidence suggest something completely different. They suggest that Clarissa was using Maserati Bud to try to get to 50 Cent, that she was building that relationship strategically, and that when it became public, when Remy Ma allegedly exposed some of what was going on, Clarissa panicked and tried to erase all evidence of her connection to Maserati Bud so it wouldn't interfere with her pursuit of Papoose. Think about that for a second. Allegedly, Clarissa wasn't upset that Maserati Bud was posting her. She was upset that Remy Ma had blown up the spot and exposed the fact that she was involved with Maserati Bud at all. She was upset because it complicated her ability to publicly pursue Papoose, who was freshly separated and vulnerable. And she was upset because once it became public, she could no longer play both sides. She couldn't continue building with Maserati Bud and the 50-cent opportunity while simultaneously positioning herself as Papoose's new woman. So she allegedly made a choice. And the choice was to throw Maserati Bud under the bus, paint him as a problem, delete all traces of their relationship from social media, and go all in on the Papoose situation. But here's what she didn't account for. Maserati Bud kept receipts. He kept screenshots. He kept messages. And when she started publicly claiming that he was a stalker and that they barely knew each other, he had the evidence to prove otherwise. Let's zoom out for a second, because this isn't just about Clarissa Shields making a questionable romantic decision. This is about a pattern we see in hip-hop and entertainment culture where people prioritize perception over substance, where they chase fame over opportunity, where they want the appearance of success more than they want to do the actual work required to achieve lasting success. Clarissa Shields is an elite athlete. Let me be very clear about that. In terms of pure boxing skill, she's one of the best female boxers we've ever seen. She's multi-division champion. She's dominated her competition. She has legitimate credentials in the sport. But being great at your craft is only part of the equation when it comes to becoming a mainstream star. The other part is positioning, marketing, connections, and infrastructure. And this is where we need to have an honest conversation about the difference between someone like Clarissa Shields and someone like Laila Ali. Laila Ali was a great boxer in her own right. But what separated her from other female boxers of her era was that she had the right connections from day one. Her father was Muhammad Ali, arguably the most famous athlete in human history. She had automatic access to media, to mainstream platforms, to promotional opportunities that other female boxers could only dream of. She leveraged that platform brilliantly, and she became a household name not just as a boxer but as a television personality, brand ambassador, and entrepreneur. Clarissa doesn't have that built-in advantage. She didn't come from a famous family. She didn't have automatic media access. She had to build everything from the ground up, and that's actually incredibly impressive. But it also means that when opportunities come along to connect with people who do have access to those platforms, you can't afford to fumble them. And I get why this is complicated. I genuinely do. Because we're talking about romantic feelings, personal attraction, the desire to be in a relationship with someone you're interested in. Those are real human emotions, and it's not fair to expect someone to make every decision purely based on career strategy. But at the same time, when you're trying to build a legacy, when you're trying to be taken seriously as both an athlete and an entertainer, you have to be willing to make hard choices. You have to be willing to separate your personal life from your professional life. You have to be willing to say, this relationship might make me happy in the short term, but is it helping me achieve my long-term goals? And based on what we're seeing play out, it appears that Clarissa chose short-term emotional satisfaction over long-term strategic positioning. She allegedly chose a relationship with a married man who was homeless and financially dependent over maintaining a professional relationship with someone who could have connected her to 50 Cent's empire. Now, let's talk about what this says about where hip-hop culture is right now, because I think this story is emblematic of a larger problem. We're in an era where social media has convinced people that perception is reality. If you can convince people on Instagram that you're living a certain lifestyle, if you can convince people that you're with a certain person, if you can convince people that you have certain connections, then in the eyes of social media, that's what's real. It doesn't matter if behind the scenes you're struggling. It doesn't matter if the opportunities aren't actually materializing. As long as you look successful online, as long as you look happy in your relationship online, that's what counts. But the problem is, reality always catches up eventually. You can't fake substance forever. You can't post your way into a successful music career. You can't Instagram your way into becoming a mainstream star. At some point, you need actual infrastructure. You need actual connections. You need actual resources. And if you burn those bridges in pursuit of social media clout, you're going to find yourself stuck. And that, allegedly, is exactly where Clarissa Shields is right now. She has the appearance of being in a relationship with someone famous. She has the appearance of having a music career with Win Records. She has the appearance of being a celebrity. But what does she actually have? Where are the tangible results? Where's the mainstream crossover? Where are the endorsement deals with major brands? Where's the Netflix documentary series? Where's the reality show? Where's any of the things that someone connected to 50 Cent could have helped her achieve? And I'm going to continue to stand firmly in that stance. There is no reason to believe that Clarissa Shields made the right strategic decision here. None. You can argue that she followed her heart. You can argue that she chose love over business. But you cannot argue that she made the smart career move. Because we can see with our own eyes what's happening. We can see that Zeus Records launched 8 days ago and already has more momentum than anything Win Records has produced in years. We can see that 50 Cent is signing 9-figure deals while Papoose is allegedly living in Clarissa's house. We can see that Clarissa can't even get a simple single to streaming platforms without problems while 50 Cent's artists are getting major placements and mainstream attention. And once again, here's what they didn't want you to see. They didn't want you to connect the dots between Clarissa's relationship with Maserati Bud and her failed opportunity with 50 Cent. They didn't want you to realize that all of her defensive behavior, all of her claims about being harassed, all of her attempts to paint Maserati Bud as a villain, were actually just attempts to cover up the fact that she fumbled one of the biggest opportunities of her career in pursuit of a relationship with a married man. They really thought we wouldn't see this, but let's talk about what they don't want you to see. Honestly, between this situation and everything else going on in hip-hop right now, I'm a little exhausted from all the nonsense we're seeing. But we're going to continue to break down these stories as they develop. We're going to continue to hold people accountable for their decisions. And we're going to continue to connect the dots that others are trying to keep separated. We're going to break down the rest of what Tasha K revealed and all of its implications very soon. Because there's more to this story. There are more receipts. There's more context. And the more we dig into this, the clearer it becomes that this situation is even messier than it initially appeared. And if you want to see how other celebrities are making similar mistakes, fumbling similar opportunities, and prioritizing clout over substance in ways that are arguably even worse, check out the video on your end screen right now. Because this pattern is everywhere in hip-hop right now, and the more we expose it, the harder it becomes for people to keep playing these games. And if you're part of the family, you already know what to do. Leave that like, hit that subscribe button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep this conversation going. Because we're just getting started.